Good morning, my brothers and sisters. On this, our next edition of Twix GP, this week in Xbox Game Pass. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, or night as we discuss the latest and the greatest with the best deal in gaming and all that we love to watch and play within. I'm your host today, the Sony Pony in Xbox clothing, Lucas Ham Swisher. Also with me, the Game Pass ambassador and Microsoft Points excavator, Patrick Novacell.
Excavating those points.
Yeah, baby. And finally, the final member of our GMG quadfecta who's got battle royales in his heart, Naraka Bladepoint on his brain, and sparkling water in his old stomacho, Mark Love Shack Boucher.
Love Shack, baby.
Love Shack. It's been a while.
Rest.
Woo.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Mike didn't like that.
Getting spicy.
Probably not. But
Getting spicy here. Your mic's
getting
like,
a little high up there.
Rejected.
You're bringing us up a whole another octave.
Yeah. All right, guys. It has been a while since our last time taking a bite out of Twix, so it's good to be back together. We have some October Game Pass games to share, to divulge. We have some GOAT games to list out. And the focus of our show today, save the best for last, is the old 20 for 20 that we did. 20 games, 20 reviews, played for 20 minutes. So be there or be
something else.
I don't know, not there. I don't want to say be squared because that's that's PlayStation.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's Sony. So we don't want to do that. Anyways, be there, just be there. You don't have any choices. All right, let's jump into Game Pass. The latest releases, I am not going to list them all. I'm only going to highlight some that I thought look interesting. And actually, I'm lumping in the games with gold as well for reasons that you'll find out in a second. So if you guys have any games you want to throw in, I'm just going to kind of go in the order of take them, try them, and toss them. And I'm going to go with the positive first. Take them. Rayla has a few games that she'd like to add, but Rayla, you need to hold that off till later. Telltale's Walking Dead Season 1 and 2, which I thought were already on Game Pass, are now coming to Game Pass. So I think only Season 3 and the final season, or is that the same thing? Is Season 3 the final season, Patrick? No, it's not. I already corrected myself. 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 I think were already on there. 1 and 2 are now coming to Game Pass. So
which one was season 3 the one without Clem?
Well, it had Clem. It's just she was not playable.
Not the main.
Yeah.
Season 3,
well,
gross.
Yeah. So now you got the classics, the goodies, the oldies but goodies. Play those. Yeah. Another one that I would say check out if you haven't is Costume Quest. I think that's just a fun little
Costume
RPG.
Quest 1 or 2?
I think both are good. Both go along with the season. Costume Quest 1 is the one that's coming. I think Costume Quest 2, is it already there?
Yeah. Costume Quest 1 is a 360.
What is the deal with sequels? Like, they already have the sequels on there, but now they're bringing the older ones.
I wonder if it's a licensing deal.
Maybe. Hey, better late than never,
Yep.
So those are on there. Do you guys have any other games you saw on Game Pass that you want people to take besides that?
I was not prepared for this, but I have some for the 20 for 20.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll save that. Put a pin in that. Save it. There's others that you can try them. I haven't played them personally, but one of them I at least want to try, and then the other I've heard lots of good things, but it's not my cup of tea. Persona 5 Royal, I've heard, is one of the best JRPGs, if JRPGs are your thing. The other is A Plague Tale Requiem is coming out later this month. It is a day one sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence, which I've heard many good things about, but I have not played personally because I don't like stealth games.
I am all in. So Plague Tale, the first one, great. It's an escort mission kind of game where it's not. It's just you're trying to move around the environment. But the story was awesome. Story was really, really good. Looking forward to the sequel.
Big one that came out today that I'm gonna give a try is Scorn.
Oh yeah,
really? You're gonna give that a try?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, it looks all weird and all that, but they had me at puzzles. So.
Oh yeah, I did not know it was a puzzle game. I started playing and I'm like, "Well, this is a puzzle game." I'm out.
Delete. It's not for everyone.
Yep, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, nice. The last one I'm going to throw out, and this is for Toss It, is the games with gold. I don't know that I've ever seen such a terrible duo. What happened to 4 games a month with games with gold? Did they downsize to 2 games?
I feel like they've just given up.
2 or 3. I think they changed it. I think they changed it where they're not giving away like the old Xbox OG games anymore.
Yeah, so PlayStation did the same thing, and I thought it was stinky too. But yeah, Windbound and Bomber Crew Deluxe Edition. Check them out if you dare.
Hear that?
If you have nothing else to play.
You guys
There's
hear that?
so many more games.
That's
There's
the
so many
sound
good
of no
games.
one caring.
Yeah, Toss It. I put that in the Toss It pool. So do you guys have any others that you want to share? Toss them out.
Not
once,
prepared
going twice.
Not prepared for the list.
Hey, Garbage Truck on Fire. Welcome to the GMG. We're glad you're here. The next thing that you should be prepared for is the GMG GPT 10 or the GMG Goats, the Twix Goats. I don't know. I'm just throwing out letters and acronyms.
I don't even know what that is.
What are we doing? The top Game Pass games.
Top 10 Game Pass games in layman's terms. We got number 1 is Celeste, number 2 is Quantum Break, and number 3 is Psychonauts 2. So I want you guys to throw out your number ones. We're each going to throw out a 1 and add it to the list and then rank it. So,
you know what?
Patrick, what do you got?
This is going to be spoilers for my 20 for 20. Do you want to wait, or do you want me to give it now?
We can save it. Let's put a pin in this. Let's put a pin in this one, 2 pins in this one, and then let's take the pin out of the other one that I put the pin in, not to confuse anyone. And we're going to jump into the 20 for 20. Patrick has pulled an audible. Thank you very much, Patrick. And I'll allow it. Judge rules 20 for 20. Is what we're jumping into, and we're just going to do a round robin. We're not going to, most of the time, it's all in, add to the backlog or abandoned. We're not going to focus on any certain area. Just, you can say the games in the order that you played them. You can do them ABC order. You can draw names out of a hat, however you want to do it. We're just going to do a round robin one at a time, and we're going to start with Patrick again, since he denied me once. He better not deny me twice.
I will not deny you now.
All
so
right.
I was gonna say, you definitely prepared for this one.
I'm going to go in the order that I played them. So
the
7 games that I played, Mark had picked for me.
Yep.
And so I played 6. Oh no, sorry, I played 1 of the 7 games before. So just a little transparency there. The first game that I played was Archvale. Never played it before, and I was like, "Oh man, this is an indie game. I don't really care about it." I turned it on, and it immediately looked like Enter the Gungeon.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, all right, I like this art style. It's like that, sprite-based, dungeon crawler kind of thing. And so as I figured out, this is a twin-stick shooter, just like Enter the Gungeon. And then also, I would say if Enter the Gungeon and Minecraft Dungeons had a baby, this is the game.
Okay.
We're only supposed to play games for 20 minutes. I played this game for 7 hours.
Dang.
I could not put this game down. The reason why I say it's like Enter the Gungeon and Minecraft Dungeons, it's Enter the Gungeon, it's a twin-stick shooter, and it's a bullet hell kind of game. And so the reason why it's kind of like Minecraft Dungeons is you have like little towns as you go through the map and clear rooms. The towns have like, you can upgrade your armor, you can upgrade your helmet, or there's also another thing that you have. It's called like a ring, and this ring gives you buffs of sorts. And so you have those things. You can buy like upgrades for your like inventory and kind of like the buffs. Like you can have only so many buffs, but you can mix and match of however you want to play. And then there's also a place where you can like add more hearts or things like. There's so many different things in this. You have an inventory system, and then also in the towns they have like a stash. We can stash away some other things. This game was so fun. I did not want to stop. I played this game for 7 hours, and just seeing my loadout progress and then differentiate, and just seeing all the different weapons and armor that you can get. This game is unlike. This is the kind of like what I want Enter the Gungeon to be. There are parts in the map there's like 7 different parts. The whole goal of the game is to get seven gems, and each part of the map you can get to a dungeon, go through the dungeon, beat the boss, get the gem. Did all that stuff, and within there's like all these little save points, and if you die, you go back to the save point. Save points are very, very generous, so it didn't feel like I was losing a lot of progress if I died. Which enter the dungeon, you die, you go back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
However, this game played for 7 hours. Loved this game. One of the best games that's on Game Pass. This is the game that I'm putting on the top 10 Game Pass games. Came out of nowhere, and also, so I played this and I looked up like, hey, when did this come out? Who's done this? And I found out that they are adding DLC to Archvale, where it's a rogue-like game like Enter the Gungeon.
What?
Yeah, it's a whole separate mode, and I don't know when that's coming out soon. With indie developers, you never get a time table. They're just working on it. This game is fantastic. 10 out of 10, straight up 10 out of 10. One of the best games on Game Pass. Came out of nowhere. Love it. I highly, highly recommend this game.
Very nice. Glad to hear it. Well, spoilers for future updates. I downloaded it and played it for 20 minutes, and I was like, all right, I think I'll return to this. And now that you just said roguelite, and I'm like, yep, I'm in. So nice. Yep, they are in. Marcus, what you got? What's your first game you want to share?
So since we're shooting high, I'm going to start with what I would say is my favorite of the ones that were picked for me. I think these were both of you that picked these.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first one that I am going to recommend is Max the Curse of Brotherhood.
Okay. Yeah.
Very much up my alley. It's basically about a guy a little kid who wishes that his brother would basically disappear and gets yanked through an alternate dimension. And
that's what he gets.
Yep. And so
little brother hater.
And so Max then has to go save his brother. I believe his name's Felix. Save his brother from this alternate dimension. And it's a platformer with all sorts of like little puzzle type things that you can do, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's very much up my alley. So I very much enjoyed this. You knew, obviously Pat has the idea, but yeah, it's a good one when you're not paying attention to the time and has it been 20 minutes yet. And so,
if you're not telling Alaska to set a timer for you.
Yes. But this was a good one indeed for me. Had a lot of fun. Wasn't paying attention to the time. So I did not delete it from my system. So
there you go. Nice. A ringing endorsement. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the opposite approach, and I'm going to save my favorite game of the 7 I played to last.
Good, because that's good. We need to have some more positives at the end.
So just so you know, folks, Mark picked both mine and Patrick's games, and then Patrick and I, we shared the load for picking games for Mark. Just so you know who to blame when we play really bad games or thank for really good games. Mm-hmm. The first game I played is called Echo Generation, and this was a cute little RPG. It kind of reminded me of Costume Quest a little bit. You did have a brother and sister, except the animation was a little more like almost like a Lego look, but not so much like Lego. Like, it doesn't look like Lego. It just looks like people in a world made of like smaller Legos.
Yeah.
It's not quite as boxy and ugly as Minecraft. It's like, it feels like you're looking down at a table of a Lego world, and you're moving things around. It was really cool. It's a really good first RPG for kids, I think. You like walk around, you talk to NPCs, there's like light puzzles involved where, your sister's like at the beginning's like, I'm not going to go with you till you go and get me an orange roadside cone. It's nonsensical, but it's still, you explore the world, and most of your adversaries are raccoons and, trash pandas and large rats and just random stuff. I played it for 20 minutes and then abandoned it. It's not, there's too many other RPGs that I like. It was a little too cutesy for me. But my son was very intrigued, and he played even further. He was like, I did this, Dad. Did you see this? I got this cake, and then I gave it to this man, and then that man gave me a key, and then I went and unlocked this. I was like, cool. And he's like, and then I got to a creepy alien, and I shut it off. And I'm like, it's all good, buddy. So we've both abandoned it. But I would recommend you giving it a try, especially if you have kids, to just see what it's like, because it gives you really basic RPG elements, and it's really straightforward and kind of cute. So it's abandoned, but Echo Generation. So there it is.
It's not a hard abandon.
No, it's not a hard abandon. It's just more of a not for be abandoned.
Gotcha.
All right. So the next game that I played is called Beacon Pines. This game is a storybook kind of game where a narrator reads lines or thoughts or something that's happening in the story. It's actually in a book. They go through chapter 1, then narration, and then you're like these weird fantasy type of characters. It's very, very, very cartoony, very lighthearted, kind of look to it. Every section or every kind of room or whatever you are on the screen, it kind of looks like someone had drawn it on the background is on a book, and then you have little characters that are walking around. I didn't think I would like this game because you read, every time you meet someone in the story, the two characters pop up on each side of the screen, and then, text bubbles and you have to read them. It's all gibberish. It's womp, 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 womp.
Yeah.
But the narrator, whenever you're going around the scene and you click on a little magnifying glass to find out what is going on, what's that book say, or clicking on anything, the narrator starts talking instead of saying nothing's it, like in Resident Evil where it says nothing is interesting here, kind of thing. She starts talking, and this narrator is one of the best voiceovers I've ever had. I've ever heard in any video game. I mean, this is top tier voiceover talent. Her name is Kirsten Mize. The way she does the reading, she starts reading it, and then after, when you have to hit A to continue on for the next next sentence or whatever, she has this little inhale, she's gonna continue talking, and which felt so natural. I've never. Usually when you hear voiceover, it's period, it's done. And then you hit A and then more talking, period, done. She has she's continuing to talk. So I'm it's a little audio cue that not a lot of voiceovers do when they're doing their voiceover, which is really, really nice. I want to get her on the show. This person is the best voiceover in any narration of any video game. One of the best. I've never ranked them before because I've never had a list like that, but she was awesome, and she's the reason. Yeah, she is the one that is the reason why I'm continuing to play this game. She makes the story very, very interesting. Cool. There's other things that are happening in this game. One of the cool things, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure kind of story where there's turning points in the game where you have to insert words that you collect throughout the game, and you can choose which words you want to select. Some of them will be the right words, some of them won't be the right words. If you choose the wrong one, the story ends and that's over. But you can go back to that and choose a different one to continue on the story and do your own kind of branching path, which is really, really cool. So if you choose the wrong one and the story continues, you can always go back there and choose another word that you've collected throughout the story, throughout the game. Really cool way to do it. So you can kind of change the story as you go along, and you can rewind and kind of change the story from chapters ago, which is cool. So I give this game 8 out of 10. I'm going to go back and finish this. I'm very, very interested in where the story's going. Plus, it's really fun, and the narration is awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Good
Marcus.
pick, Mark. Good pick.
Sweet. So my next one is another platformer. This one is called Tinykin. So Tinykin is basically about this. I think he's a human, but he's on a different planet or something, and he gets this signal, this broadcast signal from what is possibly another sign of humanity, because I guess humanity has been long forgotten or whatever. And so he goes towards that signal, and on his quest to find whatever is or whoever has made that signal, he meets these little creatures called Tinykin, and they're actually built in as part of the platforming, to where you have to collect certain, and there's multiple types of Tinykin that you have to collect a certain amount in order to progress and do different puzzle and platforming challenges throughout each level. And so it's really interesting, and there's like all sorts of different random, items that you can get that are part of the puzzles, and it's just really cool that the way that you platform throughout the game. So obviously platformers are big for me. So this was towards the top. This is a recommend for me. It just worked for me on every level. So yeah.
Nice. That sounds like Pikmin, but that's just based off of you saying stuff.
It's very similar.
I played this as well. I got through the first level. And it was fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. Yeah.
Nice. The next one I got is Floppy Night. And as Patrick squints, it's a very weird title. It's actually the title comes from the fact that it's a kid who likes to wear night clothing, like night outfits, and he has invented a machine based on a floppy disk where you insert it in, and he can materialize creatures that most of the time happen to be vegetables for whatever reason. This is a card-based tactical RPG. It's cute, a little too cute, and so I abandoned it pretty quickly. I got my 20 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I like tactical RPGs, but there are others that I can play that are much more enjoyable, have an intriguing story. This was like baby's first tactical RPG. I don't know why I got baby's first everything for a lot of these games, but yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't really have a rating for this, but I'll give it a 7.123 out of 10. So nice. It really wasn't that bad. It was just too cute, and just lots of other things I can play. So, all right, next one, Patrick.
The next game I played was Bloodroots. This is a cartoony 3/4 top-down game where you are this gruff, woodsy kind of guy, and your goal is to go through these levels as fast as possible without dying. There's like a high score, top scores and worldwide scores and all that for how fast you can get through these levels. But one of these cool things is almost everything in the level. These levels are like maybe like 30 seconds long. They're kind of like Super Meat Boy, where you just like continue to die until you can get through it. But everything in the level is something you can pick up, whether that's a sword, an axe, an umbrella, a ladder, a board, a carrot, whatever you can use to defeat the enemies as fast as possible. But if you get hit, you die, you go back to the beginning. But there are some different sections in each level. And if you get to the next section, if you die, you start off, if you die, you start off at that new section. So I played this before. I played this 2 years ago, maybe. And I played through maybe 20, 25 levels. It was fun. It was a really fun game. It feels like it's a more of an on-the-go type of game. I think this would do really well if it was like a mobile game. But yeah, it was really fun. Very bloody, very bloody. That's it.
Yeah, it gave me. I downloaded this one before too. It gave me Hotline Miami vibes, with less. It's more kinetic like Hotline Miami, but less gritty. It's not like 80s grit and weirdness. It's pretty much just a revenge mission. The lumberjack man with the wolf head, like a wolf pelt on his head, is just going around killing fools to get revenge on those who killed him.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. Marcus, what you got next?
So my next one is, I probably, other than I guess I kind of liked Hades, but I just didn't have any interest in it, in keeping going with it. I think this is actually the first roguelike game that I actually like. And it's called Dicey Dungeons. And yeah. So it's like a turn-based kind of card building type game where you get turned in. You're like on a game.
You
show.
just lost Patrick.
Yeah, turn-based card battles.
Within 1 second, he's like, "Ooh,
It's not, okay." So I shouldn't say card build. It's deck building, I should say.
You've already. It's too late. You can't say anything now. Mark, let's go to help. But I'm in. I'm in still. So continue.
Keep going.
Well, basically, what happens is you're pulled into this game show, and you're, for whatever reason, turned into an actual like dice or die. No, dice is one. So there's like several different classes of dice that have different abilities that you can choose from that you have to unlock, I guess. But you have to progress through the game, and you have a bunch of mini battles against different enemies. And the way that the game works is you roll dice in the game. And
you roll yourself?
You don't roll yourself, per se.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
the dice gets
funny.
more of his kind to roll. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird.
Roll for me now.
And you have like a series of attacks and abilities that you can choose from, and the idea is to get the opponent's HP down to 0, and you're basically going through this almost like a board game style, and each level is that kind of game. Only your health doesn't recuperate after each battle, so you have to. There's like spots where you can get. There's like an apple on the board where you get a chance to replenish your health. But otherwise, you've got to try to survive and be strategic about what abilities you use. The dice comes into play where you can only use a certain number die or odd or even in order to be able to play that attack. And so that's where the dice rolling part comes into play. And then you eventually have to defeat enemies, progress through the different levels without dying. And I had fun with this one. This was another one where I wasn't paying attention to the time. Now, is it something that I'm necessarily going to go back to? No, probably not. But I had a fun time with it. I didn't die, so that was nice. So I didn't have to
well done.
restart with all my progress or anything like that. But yeah. It's a fun one. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
For people who that's up your alley.
All right. Sweet. My next game is Road 96, and this was a walking / survival sim set in the fake country of Petria, where people get arrested for fleeing for the border because it's like a really volatile country of sorts, and people are trying to get out, and that's exactly what your character is trying to do. So you're hitchhiking, you're riding the bus, you're meeting characters along the way. It's all first person perspective. And oftentimes in the 20 minutes, I had at least one, if not two moments that I could help or I could hurt someone in order to get the upper hand, like to help me get further. Like at one point, a teen is trying to flee from the police, and I can either help the police to get an advantage, or I can, risk getting arrested as well by not giving them the information. And it was fine. The animation's a little weird, but it seemed like an interesting story. I'm abandoning it, of course, because I can just think of so many other games that I'd rather play. That's just the nature of it all. But I'm glad I played it for 20 minutes and saw that it exists, and people can enjoy a little road trip running for the border on Road 96.
I think it's a poor man's As Dusk Falls.
Oof, it's a super poor man's As Dusk Falls.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and there's So, and you do have more control. Like there's some exploring, like looking around and finding items and all that jazz. But yep, that's Road 96. So Patrick, what do you got next?
Okay, so the next game I played was CHORVS.
CHORVS.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell. Like I don't even know. Is it a V? Is it a U? I don't know. I think it's the CHORVS or chorus.
It's chorus.
Yes, it's both.
There's a V in there. It's CHORVS. So the reason why I'm saying CHORVS because this is just a straight up space flying game, and I do not care for flying games at all. You're in, and all of the story is done through like communication through walkie-talkies with other ships and other people, and it wasn't like I'm more of like a third person or first person. I don't care for the flying games.
Yeah.
I played this was one of 3 games that I played for only 20 minutes. The other 4 games I played for more than 20 minutes, and that's pretty good.
Can't win them all.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
That's pretty good.
If you like flying games, I think this was fun. You have like on your ship, you have this like echo thing where you can find out where the enemies are or where the items you need to pick up. You have like light speed, you have like normal speed, and you can slow down and do all this other stuff like normal flying games are. But I could care less about this game. The gameplay, the mechanics, the controls, they're fine. I understood them. They're very easy. So nothing bad really to say about the controls. I'm not a flying type of guy. So 20 minutes, I'm abandoning this immediately. Deleted.
Bare enough.
Yep.
Bare enough.
Mm-hmm. All right, Marcus, what you got next?
Okay, so the next one on my list, as I'm pulling my list back up, as I'm stalling for time to pull my list back up. There we go.
Get there faster.
Yeah, so the next one on there that I played was Screamride, which is
come on and take a Screamride.
Yeah, this is basically it's like a combination of 3 different types of games, really, because you can either come at it from like the engineering type side of things, where you can engineer different roller coasters and things like that, and add different types of elements to your roller coaster and things like that. There's the demolition expert, where you can just blow things up as much as possible.
That's the mode. That's the best.
Funny enough, I went with the last one, which is the Screamrider one. I just wanted to ride it and see what you could do about doing different tricks and things like that to gain points. That was the only one I was really interested in. This is one of the ones where I wasn't necessarily looking at the time, but I was ready when 20 minutes were up to be done. It was, there was fun in it, but overall, it's just not really my thing. It wasn't
very
really
shallow kind of game.
Yeah, just like
once
you've got it, you got it, and it's very repetitive. At least from that perspective. Obviously I didn't try the other modes, so I'm sure there were new things I could have done, but honestly, it wasn't enough for me to keep going. So ultimately, it's just fair. It's not a bad game. It's just not my cup of tea. But if you're into Sims and all that kind of stuff, and blowing things up and roller coasters
and screaming,
yep, yeah, definitely a lot of screaming in it. You get points for the more screams you get.
All right.
So yeah, try out Screamride if you like. Just not my deal.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry, I misspoke. The next one I played is Sable. It is a third-person kind of a coming-of-age story where you play as a younger character that is about to leave the city or the town or village or wherever for the very first time. The surrounding setting is a very calm, serene version of Borderlands without the crazy people or the guns. I did get to do some climbing. I did find the climbing to be very Breath of the Wild-esque. Like you just pretty much, you find a surface and you can just climb on it. Let's see. You eventually go to like a temple. You get like a floating, some kind of, not a device, but it's like an artifact that you can then use to float across chasms and stuff to get to other places where you couldn't get before. I only played it for 20 minutes. All these games, except for the last one, I played for 20 minutes. I left it off where you were about to build your own bike. I could see where this could be a nice, relaxing kind of game to play. Yeah. There weren't any enemies. It was exploring. It was It had an intriguing story of adventure to it, but I wasn't about to go on the adventure any longer than the 20 minutes I did, so I abandoned it. But if you like Borderlands without crazy people or guns, check it out. And see if you like it.
I don't know that I would enjoy that.
Yeah,
that's what makes Borderlands fun.
Yeah,
it's true. That's part of the point, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's Sable.
There you go.
Patrick, what do you got next?
All right, the next game I played is Escape Academy. This is basically you are in an escape room and you're trying to escape.
Yep.
And this now, Lucas, this is like We Were Here games.
Okay.
But it's more lighthearted, and you're only in a room, and the puzzles make sense.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, if we stuck it through with We Were Here 3 times, then you probably like this game.
Yeah, this screams to me like you need to play this with other people, kind of thing.
So I went through 2 rooms, and both rooms I did in my first try within the time limit. It was fun. It was just like an escape room I played for maybe an hour of this, maybe 45 minutes. There's a small little story elements in here, where you're like at a school and your whole, I guess, point is to unfog the whole university, and each like building has like a escape room. And so I went through, did a couple escape rooms. They were fun, trying to figure out how to put together certain things, because there's there's hints of where you need to put things in like a picture, but then it's on the other side of the room. You need to go to the other side of the room, kind of remember it. One of the things at the beginning of the game, it's like, make sure you get your pen and paper ready for this game. And I'm like, no way, I'm not doing that. So I was like, I'm only playing this for 20 minutes. I don't got time for this. So, but after I did the first 2, I'm like, yeah, it probably would have been easier if I would have wrote something down, but there's like, you have like an inventory. You can look at all the things you have like in your inventory to kind of figure out what order you need to do things in. It's like there's like for example, there's a whole bunch of books that are on the wall, and you have to like click on 3 of them out of the 30 books that are whatever that are on the wall to open up this door. And I'm like, what? I don't know which books to click on, so just trying to find out which books to click on the from the rest of the room. It's really fun. I really enjoyed this game. I played this one, like I said, for 45 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to go back to this game, but it was fun for the time that I had with it. It was really fun. I highly recommend it for people who like escape rooms or just looking for like a puzzle type of game. This is very like I finished the game. Like each one of the levels or the rooms has like a time limit, and getting into the first couple, and on my first try, I don't know how big of a deal the time limit is, because I had plenty of time for the first 2. But I didn't think I thought that would be like nerve wracking, like, oh no, because the timer's up at the top and you're like, oh no, I got to make sure I get this. That kind of made me hurry a little bit. But yeah, I think this was really fun. I for the first 2 levels, I'd give this game a 7 out of 10 so far.
There you go.
So it's not deleted. I've not deleted it off my system yet. I might go back to it.
I thought it was going to be. It was a real hit or miss with this one for me. It just depends on how much you like escape rooms and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, let's see if he likes this one. But yeah, sweet deal.
All right.
Okay,
Mark,
so
next game.
Obviously, these next 2 are bottom of the barrel
for
me on my list.
Oh,
in fact, they were both fighting for bottom of the list for me. I had a little bit of trouble selecting which one honestly was the worst. So the penultimate one on my list is Full Throttle Remastered. Which is a remaster, of course, of a point-and-click adventure from 1995.
Oh yeah,
I played the OG and the reboot. I loved this game.
I got the platinum in this game.
All the achievements, all the platinums. Yep.
Very much not for me. I was not.
It's so goofy. It's so goofy.
So weird.
The only redeeming quality for me to this game is that Mark Hamill plays several characters in this game. And so that had me interested.
Yeah.
But
it's a LucasArts game.
Yeah.
It's my kind of arts.
Yeah, but not necessarily for me. I like point and click in some respects. Like I love the Walking Dead games and any of the Telltale games.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even for a remaster, this is a point and click adventure from 1995, and those have never been interesting to me.
Yeah, I get it.
Not my cup of tea. Not to say it's a bad game.
It's okay. They're not listening. George Lucas is not listening. He will not take any offense to this.
That's fair. And George Lucas is hanging around with his $4 billion that he got from Star Wars. And
I mean, this game would not enter my top 300 games in my list, if not top 400 or top 500. Yep. I don't know.
Yep.
Top 500? This game wouldn't be on there? Dang.
I don't think it would. I mean, I got the platinum for it, but I really only got the platinum because it had a guide and I liked the story. Like, I just like those kind of games. And so I did not get it naturally. If
I had a top 500 games, this game might be on there. It might be.
Challenge accepted. Let's make a top 500. Top 500 list.
Episode. Or the next 5-hour episode.
Oh, it'd take longer than 5 hours.
No, to get through the first 25.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
But that's second to last for me.
All right, there you go.
And obviously off my system.
Yes, obviously. The next one for me is called Supraland. Not Superland, but Supraland. Supra. I don't know what that means, and I don't really care because I abandoned it. But it is a first person silent stick figure action puzzler where it's the red people versus the blue people, and you're on an adventure with a stick lady princess trying to get to the blue people to do something stupid. I got stuck at some point and the 20-minute mark hit and I was like, thank you, Jesus. And I turned it off and deleted it. The end. 2 out of 10. 1, because it had colors that were pretty, and 2, because you had a weapon and you killed stuff. So I give it 2 out of 10. Yeah. Okay. Patrick, what's your next one?
Next game I had was Genesis Noir. And outside of that, I have no idea what this game was. I have
it's not like Adam and Eve in a noir style story.
No, it was not. It was black and white. It was the prologue that looks like they just threw words together in a sentence. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm reading. Like, this is like Shakespeare's hard to read. This is even harder to read. So I'm like, I don't even know. Like, was this supposed to tell me about what the game is about? You end up being like a guy walking around this, just like, it feels like I was tripping on drugs, maybe, playing this game. I had no idea there was no tutorial. I had no idea what to press, what to do. And I did the music, like a noir style music. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good. Outside of that, I have no idea what the heck this game was about. And do I care? No. 20 minutes, done, deleted. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. 3 for the music. Music was good.
All right, there you go.
Because I can't say was this a platformer? Was this a adventure? Was this a point and click? I have no idea what this game was.
This is one of those ones that did I select this one? I don't remember if I did.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember selecting
you had to have selected this one because you selected all our
That's
games.
right.
Yeah,
that's
you
right.
did. Yeah, you selected all ours.
Did I? I don't know
games
if
we
I
hate
did.
is your fault.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where I was just looking through the list and I'm like, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
101. All right.
So,
what's your other crappy game?
The official bottom of the barrel.
Okay, let's hear it.
And this was one that, like, I was checking the time every, like, couple minutes. Like, this is
every couple minutes.
This is so boring.
Those are the best.
and that is Totally Accurate Battle Simulator.
Totally
I think,
accurate.
I don't know if Lucas picked that or I
did pick that one. Okay. I don't know. We both did.
It probably had to pick that just for the name alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting for, like, the first match or two. And the idea is basically you're setting up your team up on a playing field of like fighters that you're fighting against another team. And there's like several different modes or whatever. And I only got to like the first, like the introduction. I was like, man, this is boring. Because
you just set it up and you watch them, right?
Yeah, you basically have to pick which warriors. You have different types.
Yeah, I've seen this on YouTube. They do like a million T-Rexes against 100 tanks or something.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get that far because like it unlocks. You have to unlock it. Gold, and then you use that gold to purchase your players. And then you
not
have to
grinding this one.
Yeah,
no, definitely not.
It got a little bit more exciting for me when I was able to put an elephant or a mammoth on the field, and it just mows down all the characters. That made it a little bit fun for about 5 seconds, and then after that, I was like, "This is the same thing over and over again." And it's not like it's just you setting up your team and then hitting. It's literally the simulator. It's just watching it happen. And yeah, this was one of those ones. Just like, am I done yet? Am I done yet? Man, am I done yet? And finally, when I was done, like there was no better satisfaction than me deleting that game off of there.
There you go.
Now, if that's your kind of thing, more power to you. But nope, the least of these for me.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. All right, my last bad game was Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Woo! What a chestnut this was. The only thing that made this game any semblance of good is it was a total off-brand ripoff of A Link to the Past, like in terms of its feel, even to the point where when you get your sword, you walk through a shadowy forest and then you pick it up and like animals are running and you hold it up in the air and then you start slashing. And that's the only thing that's similar. Everything else was just, you're just running around as a vegetable of sorts, fighting other vegetables with swords. It was very much like Floppy Night, except it was an action RPG. It was cute, but too cute again, and I abandoned. I got stuck at some point. I only had 3 minutes left, and I was just like, I'm just going to stand here until the 3 minutes are up. And that was it.
Officially I'm done trying to figure 20 minutes.
Yeah, I did my 20 minutes, and I deleted it. So that's the end of that. All right, Patrick, you have one more or two more?
I do have this last one.
Last one, and then I have one more.
Into the Pit. This is like a first-person game. Graphics were crap. It was like it looked like someone had taken a first person shooter game and like demastered it like 20 times.
Okay, nice.
You had to the text boxes were the smallest they've ever. I have a 55-inch TV and I'm only sitting like 7 feet away from it, and I could barely read the text. It was so small. There was also a lot of it. And so I got into like this like hell area, fighting demons, and I'm shooting fire and lightning out of my hands, and it looked really bad. The enemies died like they were the original Doom. I don't even know what I was supposed to be doing because the text was so small. I was like, you know what? I'm skipping this text. Like I don't even know what this is. I'll figure it out, guys. I'll figure it out. Entered a portal, fought some enemies, and 20 minutes was over. Not soon enough. And this game, terrible game, worst game I've ever played on Game Pass.
Ooh.
I can't believe this game is on Game Pass.
That's quite a feat right there.
Yeah. Terrible game.
There you
1
go.
out of 10. 1 out of 10 because it worked.
Okay, there you go. 1 out of 10. Put that on the box.
Into the Pit.
Worked.
Don't play this game.
Yeah, don't go into the pit.
There's other games. Archvale, play that.
There you go. My last game I played was last night, and I played it with Mark, and that is Naraka Bladepoint.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you guys know I am not a Battle Royale guy, but I like this game. I really enjoyed it. I'm leaving it on the system just in case. Mark's like, hey, you want to play? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll play.
All right.
Shooting is optional. In fact, shooting is often very inaccurate.
Yep.
So I like that. Nobody's going to be sniping me. Nobody's going to be killing me before I can even get near them. And then from there, you get up to them, and it's just a mash the button fest. Like, it's just awesome. I was killing human beings that I'm guessing, had played the game before. Were they 11 years old or under 10 years old? Maybe, but I don't care. They were full-grown men and women on the screen. So the fact that I was actually doing a decent job. I did find the controls and systems and all the items and everything very overwhelming at first and a little confusing, but with a few rounds, we got it together, enjoyed my time, and even in our last round, when we said, okay, just one more, Mark and I took home the win. And
Let's go.
We were the last duo standing. So
it was funny because like the first game we tried, we did just a bots game.
Yeah.
And we won that first game, but we won because the bots died to the circle.
Yeah. It was like a default win.
I'm just kind of standing there all of a sudden.
Stupid.
You win. I'm like, we'll take it. But yeah, it was nice to be able to win against real people.
Nice. That's awesome.
For sure. So yeah, there you have it, folks. We are not going to take the pin out of the 2 pins out of the top 10. We are going to do that later. Patrick is going to add Archvale at some point. And then Mark and I are going to add 2 more games, and then we'll discuss it and do a new ranking. It'll put us up to 6 games as we slowly build our top 10 Game Pass games. But with that, we are going to close things out for now. If you yourself would like to share any thoughts on some of these games we reviewed and talked about, if you disagree, if you agree, feel free to check us out as we do some housekeeping, as is tradition, where we offer towels, fluff pillows, topped with Andy's candies, tip you off to the GMG news you need to know. We are on Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and Instagram. You can chat with us. If you prefer visual content, there's YouTube and Twitch, where Mark and I, along with Chris, the Canadian Rock, is we are streaming Sundays to Saturdays. Also on Patreon and our merch page, you can support us and gear up with us. And then, of course, for all of these different places, there's one link to rule them all, linktr.com/thegmgpod. And then finally, if you can't toss a coin to your podcasters but are still the giving type, please rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Podchaser and Spotify. It helps us reach new joiners through stars, exclamation marks, and your feedback. So let your voice be heard, literally, if you would like, at 929 GMG Guys. Alrighty then, Pat, Mark, and you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners, go get your good morning this week, and may God guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game.